What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Before we get into the video, if you haven't done so already, if you could hit the subscribe button, if you want to like the video as well. If you've got any comments that you want to make, feel free, leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, as ever, I appreciate you being here and taking a bit of time out of your day to watch the ramblings of a Leeds United fan. So we're through to the fifth round now, and I'm happy overall. I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a good performance. A lot of people are going to say that the 120 minutes was too much, but the one thing that I want to point out with that is that the 120 minutes becomes too much if we lose, because then you start to feel it. When you win and it's 120 minutes, in terms of the mentality of that and the fatigue of that, it's not as big. It's an interesting one, the way that the psychology of that works. When you're winning consistently, you don't care. You're not bothered. You just keep on going. Everything seems, you know, everything's working fine. Everything's moving forwards fine. You're happy with the way things are going, all of that kind of stuff. So overall, you know, like I said, 120 minutes and losing is a lot harder to do than 120 minutes and winning. Just my personal opinion. That's just the way that I see it. Overall, I thought the game was good. I thought we played really, really well. We should have been out of sight. Joseph Hazard makes a really good save. Peru with the shot that hits the crossbar after taking a deflection. And then we get into the second half, and then Nonto scores. Great goal, great finish. Really good build-up play. Joseph to Kamara through into the middle to Nonto, and then just that little two-step sidestep, and the power that he generated was really, really good for the shot and the goal. So overall, like I said, pleased with that. And we were just kind of cruising then. I think we all kind of thought, you know, that this should be quite simple and we should get to the end. And then we do the typical Leedsy thing that we do, which is the one kind of attack that they have throughout the entire game, which in my Melier could have come for and could have grasped. I mean, the conditions were horrific anyway, so the wind was terrible, the rain was terrible, all of that kind of went into it. So we shouldn't have conceded, but you know, we are where we are. It's one of those things. It's what happens. We then move into extra time. Well, I say we move into extra time, but before that happens, and this is the thing that makes me giggle, is that you've got, and I said this when the team was announced, I said it was a really good opportunity for a lot of players to really kind of offer a couple of players. So Matteo Joseph, Anthony, Nonto, Cooper, even Byram at right back as well, just to restake some claims and stuff and put in some good performances. And they did. I was impressed with Joseph for the 80 minutes that he played. I thought he played very, very well. He looked good. He looked strong, which was impressive overall. So I thought he had a good starting game. Linked up the play quite well. So, you know, I think there's a lot more to come from him, and you can see what Farke sees in him. But can you imagine being Plymouth's defence and having to put up with, I mean, throughout the majority of the game, Anthony, Peru, Nonto, and Joseph, and then we then decide to bring on, in extra time, towards the end of the game and in extra time, we then decide to bring on Geldhart, Gray, Bamford, Rutter, Somerville. That is such a luxury for us to have, a really, really good luxury for us to have. And then we go ahead and take the lead in extra time. I think by this point, Plymouth are absolutely shattered. Somerville has done that so many times this season, and players just can't stop him, because you put a foot in him, you're going to foul him and it's going to cause a penalty. If you make one wrong move, he's just going to absolutely do you for pace. And the finish was absolutely beautiful. Really, really pretty finish. Just great. Really, really good to see. Then Rutter gets his goal. Again, great work through, build-up play, ball across from Somerville to Rutter. Nice finish from Rutter as well, under a lot of pressure. And then I don't care what anybody says. I'm giving that goal to Gruev, because for me, I think that man 100% deserves that goal. I know it was a corner, but we absolutely need to have a conversation about Gruev, and we need to have a conversation about how impressive he is as a footballer. So, somebody, Joe Donahue, tweeted out, over his last 6 Leeds United appearances, Gruev, 87 of 93, 87, so this is completed passes versus attempted. So, let's see, against Plymouth, 87 of 93, Bristol City, 61 of 63, Plymouth, 63 of 69, Norwich, 59 of 61, Preston, 49 of 57, and Cardiff City, 68 of 70. That is a stack up of 94% passing accuracy over 6 games. He has been phenomenally good over the last few games, particularly when it looks like in terms of him having to deputy. And I want to really sing his praises just in terms of his ability to spot danger, tackles that he makes, phenomenal. He's just there to put a foot in. Balls that he plays, through balls that he plays, sensible balls that he plays, slightly more risky balls that he plays. His overall ability and his overall play has been really, really good. And what this does is this gives Farke a bit of a headache in terms of, well, what do we do? Because Rodon's just an ever constant. He's just absolutely brilliant as far as I'm concerned, Rodon. Cooper played well last night as well. So does Ampadu just sit now in central defence, or do you bring Ampadu into midfield? Do you give Kamara a rest and put Gray back in there? How is it going to work? How's it going to, be able to put forward? And then you've got Nonto that started to come into form again and look like the Nonto that we saw the back end of last season. The one that seemed to be head and shoulders above everybody else. Piroux, impressed with Piroux because he's not moaning, he's just getting on with it and just doing what he's supposed to be doing, which again is a really, really pleasing thing to see. He's not whinging about anything, he's just doing it for the team. And just as another point to make about doing it for the team, Roberts being there, doing the warm-up, he's not even being selected. But again, it's that mentality. It's that we're all here for each other. And I tweeted this again last night after the game, and I said, it's clear to see all of these people are friends, they're mates, they look out for each other, and there doesn't seem to be any big-time Charlies or attitudes within the game itself. Now, listen, I know very well that it's a match against Plymouth and it's the FA Cup and it's not that big of a deal, but I'm all into that, the psychology of stuff and the way things actually work. And I like what I see in this team at the moment. I like that we have choices. I like that we have competition for places. I like that everybody knows that you have to put a shift in to be able to get into the team. We've got Dan James still to come back properly. We've got Somerville to come back properly and start. Gray that can now move back into midfield or go to right back. There's just, the options are there, which is really, really good. And as a point for the season moving forwards and for the rest of the season, it stands us, I hope, in really, really good stead. And that, I don't care how the points come, I just want the points. And if we have to grind out every single result between now until the end of the season, then so be it. But these guys will have earned it, and that's the thing. They are earning their results at the moment. You don't get anything given in the Championship anyways, but I like what I'm seeing with this team at the moment, and it's fun to watch them, which we haven't been able to say that for a couple of seasons now. So, that's a really good thing overall. And just in terms of dominance of a football match overall, in terms of the stats for the actual game itself, we had 73%, they had 27%. Total shots, we had 26. 6 of those were on target. 6 of those were on target. So we scored, of the 6 that were on target, we scored 4 of them, which is quite good. Looking at accurate passes, 738 passes to their 205. I think Gruev and Rodon, I think it was, there was a stat floating around somewhere that said Gruev and Rodon had more accurate passes than the entire Plymouth squad when you put those two passes together. Fouls committed, 11 to 17. It was a wet pitch. People were sliding all over the place. 16 corners we had, though. Thank God we scored straight from one. But again, when you look at it, the top 5 players within their within the actual game itself, only one player from Plymouth features in there. The rest of them are our guys. So Rutter's in there with an 8.6, Somerville's in there with an 8.5, Rodon's got an 8.1, Gruev, which I think is criminal, has a 7.9 because he, for me, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, man of the match, 100%. So it just, I'm pleased that we're through, and I don't care who we get. I don't care who we play, whether it be Aston Villa or Chelsea. I'm not bothered. Like I said, I don't care who we play. But that whole thing about winning, and that's the important thing. And then we move on to Rotherham, and we just have to do the same thing to Rotherham. It's going to be interesting to see what the team selection is. We seem to be just starting to rotate a little bit now, which is good. So that's going to do it for this one. I just wanted to just talk through some bits and pieces. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to click the like button. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Share the video as well. Any comments that you want to make about anything that I've said, please feel free. Put them in the comment section down below. And yeah, thank you as ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And on to the next one, Rotherham. Let's have it. Take care. Cheers.